Hey there, you are watching Reader Recap. Shalina filtered, an ad filling. How different is the life of a powerless lady who is constantly watching compared to a child who cannot wrongfully do whatever she wants. Shalina was about to go back to her room, but Kaizan called her, asking to sleep with him. But Shalina quickly replied that she didn't want to and walked away from him. Kaizan turned back and saw a dark hole that looked creepy from him. He didn't want to walk alone, so he quickly grabbed Shalina, saying he would let her sleep in his bedroom. Shalina struggled to break free of him, but she was too small compared to Kaizan. She had no choice but to sleep in his room. Upon seeing Kaizan's lavishly decorated room, filled with expensive and luxurious items, she was amazed but also felt a sense of appreciation and resentment when comparing it to her own room. Shalina was being called by Kaizan to go to his bed. Looking at him, he was adorable. He might be good-looking as Melanie when he grew up. She stopped suddenly. Why is he thinking that bastard? Kaizan lifts Shalina up to his bed. He will help her sleep since he is older than her, but Shalina thought that was far from good. He is Sharon's son, after all. She felt comfortable in bed, comfort in her crib. Kaizan properly introduced himself to Shalina and asked her a favor that no one should know if they slept together or in the same room. Shalina sighed. She'll just leave when you fall asleep, but it's going to be hard to get out since he was clean on her, and she felt drowsy. Her eyelids are getting heavier, and they fall asleep on that night. Afterwards, as the daylight rises, Sharon was informed by the guard that Baroness Cicely wants to see him, and he is waiting in the third reception room at the moment. The third reception room where the Crown Duchy met the guests who were deemed to be worthless, and none of the furnishing rooms were expensive since the waste bins aren't meant to be fancy. The Cicely were thinking out of their minds after they did Shalina, but Sharon's amused when the guard said that Baroness Cicely died last night. He doesn't remember sending anyone to get rid of her yet, and what's amused him more is that Baroness Cicely was found burnt to ashes in an empty room. In the strange part, nothing else in that room was burnt. They suspect that Sharon was behind on it. It was reasonable since he was chased out by Sharon just last week. Sharon quickly understands the situation. It was because of dark magic. She was cursed. It is often used by magicians for lack of power. Baroness Cicely loves to tame animals and discipline stubborn children. The noble family will hire her as a nanny or a teacher to educate illegitimate children or a child who does not favor the family. This information was a self-related secret among noble ladies who had children, and as a result, unfortunate events may befall due to a stroke of bad luck. Baron was looking around, finding Shalina. Unluckily, she was called by Sharon asking if there was something wrong. She got nervous. His lure sheet wanted to make sure he wouldn't tolerate it if Shalina was caught wandering again. Bera informed his lure sheet that she cannot find Shalina even on the place she goes often. Dasher came asking his son and Bera what they were doing early in the morning. Sharon informs his father that Shalina seems to be missing. A loud, sharp heard at the house of Crown Duchy. Dasher is angry. Again, just where does a little child keep wandering off to? Bera keeps asking forgiveness to the Dasher crown. He never held his anger and spoke his mind even to the Emperor. However, the one thing people like about him is that he never brings up the issue when he finishes bending. Sharon also informed that his father, Baroness Sullivan, was found dead last night. Dasher thinks it could be that the Simulant Knight is behind it. The Simulant Knight is the knight under the direct control of the Crown Duchy. While Sharon is uncertain, it seems to have been attacked by someone with the dark magic out of resentment. He planned to quietly send Baron Sullivan away quietly. Sharon asked his father to take care of Shalina and called his loyal guard Raoul to find Shalina. He was sure that she didn't go too far and report to his father once he found Shalina. Bera asked Sharon if she kept the door slack. Bera replied that she doesn't recall leaving the door open in order to stay with his father, Dasher Crown, since he'll be the one to receive the report once Raoul finds Shalina. Bera evidently filed the command, and Sharon took a nap. She felt weakness on her knees. This must be the feeling of the rabbit between the two predators. Shalina heard a slap sound. By the sound of it, it was her face that had been slapped. Her head is throbbing like someone is squeezing her brain. Her body felt heavy. She heard a familiar voice calling her. Hoping heaven punished her, she recalls it. The memories when she was Hela. Her master was disappointed on how he could use such a wild method to harm others. She defended herself using that method. She was able to climb high positions thanks to this power, founded a nation for magicians who are the sprites and treated as a monster. Hela heard this master's regretful voice. His greatest mistake was taking Hela as his student. Hela gritted her teeth out of anger. Her life is miserable. She had to do everything to survive in this eat or to be eaten. If her efforts are getting nowhere, she doesn't see why she didn't become a demon. Someone is calling her name and she suddenly woke up. As she opened her eyes, her cousin was waiting on her. Celina cannot believe she fell asleep, while the fussy fire is on her mouth. She secretly wiped it on the blanket. She felt a tremendous aura flowing in her heart. Can be only one thing. The curse was success. She was certain that Baron's woman died, and her soul will be absorbed inside of her in a form of magic. Soon the cocoon inside of her will grow into a magic heart that can store magic. Celina felt happy and feverish, because storing her sinful soul takes a lot of toll on her small body. She wonders how bad her fever is. Celina tries to touch her forehead, but her limbs are too short. Her hands can only reach her cheek. She guesses she will be like this until she is stable and has to be careful using magic at her age. Since it could be dangerous, and that also means she will have to stay resting in the crib for a while. She needed to go back to her room. Baron might find her at the moment. She slid herself down to the bed. She was called by her cousin asking to have breakfast together. Celina tried to walk, but she was slower than crawling. But Kaijin suddenly leaves her. She is trying to stay, but as a baby she cannot pronounce properly. She will make sure that she will practice saying a word clearly. Celina felt hot and was running out of breath. She was looking too silly. As it continues, her vision is getting hazy. She was dragged by Kaijin and they bump into Sharat. She saw something dark that would approach her, a huge mountain that is getting bigger. But for some reason she didn't like the mountain and saw the grass and plucked it. Celina doesn't know that she is starting to pluck Sharat's hair, and everyone was surprised and scared for her life. Celina is happy that she picked out the grass. Her eyes feel sweet. She is seeing 2 mountains now. She felt she was getting dumber. Sharat touched Celina's forehead and she was right. She had a fever. Celina felt something cold on her forehead and heard the voice of Sharat. She accused him of taking away the ice pack. She heard the voice of Bera calling her and also saw a gray mountain coming on her. Dasha felt relief when his granddaughter had been found. He tried to touch her, but Celina turned away from him. That makes Dasha stop. Celina cried, calling Bera. She keeps seeing weird things. Bera holds her to make her calm. When she was in Bera's arms, she felt safe since Bera is not the type of person that will kill her. Bera had a miscarriage before. That's why she displays affection for the child. Sharat instructs Bera to bring Celina into her room, and he'll send a doctor who will check Celina's condition, and Bera obediently follow his master's command. Kaison has been called by his father. He was being asked where he found the baby. Kaison told the truth. He sneaked out last night because he couldn't sleep and found the baby walking around looking for a fire. He took her to a fireplace and asked her to sleep with him because he was scared. But when he woke up, the baby was warm. Kaison asks his father if she is ill. But Sharat did not respond and just ordered his son to get ready as his teacher may come anytime soon. Thanks for watching.